What's going on, family? How is it going? Today, we are doing a great thing today. We are going to be talking about winners of the first competition from Black Sands Entertainment. It's crazy. It's crazy. I can't believe it. It's finally happened, right? It finally happened. We actually got winners. People who have submitted their stories to Black Sands Entertainment. And what happens when they did it? They actually got a deal. That is the kind of thing that we need to be talking about, right? We always got these competitions going online on Instagram, Facebook. People throw competitions, but we don't see actual results. This time around, Black Sands Entertainment is going to give somebody an opportunity to finally become a comic book publisher, somebody who could actually make comics for a living. That's what's on the table today. And I am so proud of my patrons and my investors for basically shooting their shot. They shot their shot. They've been being patrons for months, right? Being monthly subscribers. They were there for months, just doing their thing, right? Being loyal, being consistent. And we finally threw it back at them. We said, you know what? It's your turn. Show me what you got. And they did not disappoint. I think I had about 130 applications. It's a lot of applications, right? And I narrowed it down to like my top 20. And then I narrowed it down even further, got down to about 8 people, right? And now I finally have my winners. And, I'm super excited. So first of all, if you're here right now and you are excited about what's about to happen and who's going to win, hit that like button right now and share this on Facebook. Come on, help us move these chains, all right? We want to get as many people here as possible so they can also see the success that comes with basically supporting a company that supports you as a creator, right? That's what we do. We've been training people for years, and now it's time to see who is the number one things, right? Now, we're going to break this down into 3 sections, okay? 3 sections. The first section is going to be basically how this entire competition went in the first place, right? So how it went, right? How it felt, right? What was my side of the story, right? What did I see? What I didn't see across all applications. And then we're going to go into what I liked about some of the people who didn't make it into the top 3, right? But I felt like had like really strong narratives and might potentially get a publishing deal with me anyway, right? Remember, when I started the competition, I said specifically that I'm giving 3 publishing deals out during this competition to patrons, but it doesn't mean I'm only doing 3, right? Now, obviously, I need to finish this investment round, right? I'm at 75% funded right now, and I got to finish it up. So hopefully, I'm going to get a lot more investors over the next week or so, and we can close it out. But basically, once my investment round is over, I'll have the capital to go and invest in the creators in my community and blow up that BSP app. I need content for that app, so I need comic creators. And I'd rather that we built them from the ground up instead of trying to negotiate with people who already have comic books. I feel like it's better to have our own people, right? Have our own fresh ideas and making authentic content that's not washed down and stuff like that. So that's what we're doing. If you haven't invested yet, I implore you to do so, especially today. If you need the information, it's right here. You can go right there to wefunder.com/Black Sands Entertainment. And, just pitch in. Just $250 gets you preferred shares in our company. All right. You actually own something. It's not like a donation or anything. You own shares in our company. And, we're one of the best companies out there. So, it's not like it's a gamble or anything. You know what I mean? So first of all, before I begin, let me go and talk to the people in the comment section. So I'm going to go to the comment section right now, and I want to hear what you thought about the competition before we go down and start breaking down what happened and what didn't happen. All right. So any thoughts for the people who submitted, right? Please leave your thoughts below on what you thought about the process, how you felt about it, and we're going to pull them up, and then we'll talk about that real quick. All right. Yeah, we got joy for everybody, man. Congratulations to the winner. Yep, we don't know who the winner is yet, right? But congratulations. It don't matter who won for real. I like the fact that we competed, right? And guess what? There's gonna be a lot more winners than just the first place. That's for sure. So Kid Gravity said, made me really think outside the box. And that's what I want you to do. You want to understand this. When I make competitions, I don't make competitions because it's like, hey, wouldn't it be nice to have something? No, when I make competitions, I'm making competitions so that I can get the proper talent to create books, right? That can sell. That's the only thing I care about is selling product. So what happens is when people go out there and they put this competition, they say, why did you pick anti-colonial? Why is that the topic? Because my company specifically sells stories about African history before slavery. So anything that involves rebellion, anti-colonialism, kingdoms, and stuff like that, these are stories that already sell to my audience. So I know that if I assign somebody who's writing that kind of story, right, then most likely it's going to have a good customer base in my existing audience. And that's a huge deal because it makes you a lot of money. It makes us a lot of money. And then we can make you do like 6 books or more a year because you're making a lot of money. Like, why not? Why not make 6 books a year or more? Because you don't care because you're making money, right? No, the reason why people don't make more than 1 book a year or even that much is because they're not really making money, right? So they have to do everything else in the universe in order to pay the bills. We want to make sure that whoever wins these competitions and gets publishing deals with us has enough money to never have to worry about doing anything else besides making that next book. You know what I mean? So that's important for us. Let's see what else. Yes, so this is also true. It is very important for the next generation, right? That we create books that basically fills them in all the legacy that they have lost, man. As an African American, I tell you right now, a lot of our legacies were lost in history. We lost them. And the reason why is because people literally stripped them from us. And they didn't want us to know that. That's why you get 12 different slave movies a year. They know there's a lot more to tell us about Africa, but they say, nah, let's talk about slave. Look how great your ancestors were in chains. Look how great they were in segregated halls. What? I don't need to see that. I don't need to see that no more. I want to see kings, queens. I want to see kingdoms. I want to see empires. That's what I want to see. All right, here's one. And I think this is important, right? I think it was a great opportunity and a learning experience. If anything you should get from these competitions, it's the learning experience. So what I did was when I did the competition, I gave you strict rules. I said how you need to submit your story. I said what you need to develop in order to pitch your story, right? What is the key information you have to give me in order for me to be able to make a decision on your story? Now, the reason why I did that is because I need all submissions to have that kind of feel to them. The reason for that is very simple. When you're selling a product, right, whether you're selling it to an agent or you're selling it to a customer, if you can't give key information to that person in a quick amount of time, you lose them just like that because they don't want to read half the story to figure out what the main character is doing. Right? So what we learn from this is how to be efficient and how to be clear, right? We want to be efficient and clear. We want to be able to get that message out in as fast as amount of time as possible. Can we submit ideas outside of competitions? No. So you can submit full comic books that are already created, but as far as unsolicited submissions, no, that is not possible. Just keep submitting in competitions. Any competition that pops up, keep submitting, right? If you're a patron, you're going to see a lot of competitions coming your way, right? I love signing people who are already a part of our company. So that's fine. I love it. If you're an investor, I'm also going to send those same links to you guys as well. So investors and patrons, you guys are getting the links before everybody else, guaranteed. Let's see. Hey, look at that. I got an endorsement. Invest in the best. Black Sands Indie. Let's do it, man. Look, I need investors. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't like the fact that, Instagram and Facebook basically shadow banned me. I used to get like 3, 4, 5,000 likes on a meme, right? About my investment rounds. Now I get like 300 likes, right? And like 5 comments when I used to get like freaking 600 comments. Right, but they hate me. They hate the idea of a black empowerment company. Right now, if I was talking about Canon, right? If I was talking about Canon conspiracies and how much I love Donald Trump, then I guarantee you I'd be swimming in engagement, right? But that's not how it is with people who actually do the work. You know what I'm saying? And, it's nothing but it's just the way the business is. I don't take that personally. I see it. And that's why we're building BSP in the first place, the app. It's because we need a place to go outside of Facebook and Instagram. Because, one day they could just shut me down if they felt like it. Remember, in their rules, they could do whatever the hell they want. They could just simply say, you know what, Black Sands, I don't like you anymore, and just ban me. They could just do that if they felt like it. Right, so we got to be prepared for that. I'm glad I have a really strong patron community. I'm glad I have thousands of investors, right? And I just need a couple more so we can close this round out and keep it moving, baby. We got to keep it moving. So let's get into this. First things first, what I saw, what I didn't like, and what I did like from everybody. All right, this is a broad statement. All right, so first of all, the main thing that I saw that was one of the deal breakers. It was an early deal breaker, right? So this is a thing that kind of got you disqualified early, right? Was if you were heavy into fantasy. So if you use an alternate universe, like if you use the alternate version of Earth, right, or a future universe of Earth, or anything like that, most likely I didn't take it up. And the reason for that was simple. It's anti-colonial. We like history. I literally sent multiple emails about why we shouldn't try to make too much fantasy and stuff like that. The amount of fantasy I went here is more like, I had a dream, right? I had a dream and my God spoke to me. That's about as much fantasy as I want from a story. I definitely didn't want something like, in the world of of supercontinent, where 3 factions. I was like, I can't deal with that. That's not this competition, So there was a lot of people who did that. Now, some of them were good. Some of them were good, straight up. They were really good stories, but they just weren't for this competition. You know what I'm saying? So we definitely removed those from the pool early. We also removed from the pool people who didn't know how to they didn't follow the format. So maybe they submitted something that was completely different from what I asked for in submission wise, right? So they didn't read the instructions or download the document to go and edit and actually submit their stuff. And as a result, it was extremely hard to read their submission, right? and because of that, we had to go and remove those. So those are the 2 big red flags that I saw across all of the applications, right? And all I want to say to anybody who might have fallen into that category is, when you're doing this, right, when you're submitting, make sure you follow the theme of the story or the theme of the competition strictly, and definitely follow the rules like of the application as strictly as possible. The reason for that is very simple. You know, I have to go through hundreds of these, and as such, I can't read a lot of I can't read different versions of the same stuff. I got to know exactly what I'm reading quickly, right? Because I have to go through all of them, you know. So it's just important that we do that for future competitions, right? There's nothing wrong with not winning this competition because you know you did something different, right? Just move on to the next competition. Hopefully you'll win that one. With that being said, another thing I also want to say is don't force your dream story into the competition, right? So there's a lot of people who they've been writing a story for 5 years, right? They've been writing a story for 5 years. They had this idea in their head since they were a child, right? And now they have a competition comes up, and the competition is about brand new ideas, and they try to force their love of their life idea into a competition that's not intended for it, right? It's like they're trying to make a story about wizard and elves fit into, you know, anti-colonial rebellion history story, right? But they're gonna try to mold it in there and get it in there so they can win. He said, I always tell people, right? Whatever the competition is, make something new. Make something brand new, and it's going to help you considerably, and it's going to help get you thinking. Maybe you might come up with a banger. You might come out with a banger, and you didn't even think about it. But now that you actually start looking in that specific niche, you might come out with a banger and be like, wow, maybe I should have did this. Who knows? You know, so that's all I'm saying. You know, don't try to force success on an old project. Build new ones. See what happens, you know? What's the worst that happens, right? So let's see. Now we're going to go to let's talk about the people who made it into the finals. All right. So I'm going to go through my list, and I'm going to go and basically talk about the main themes of each one. And I'm sure there's going to be people out here who wrote these. If you wrote them, please just say something in the comment section, and I'll try to pull you up. Okay. So Blade of the Nomads, that's one of our finalists. So Blade of the Nomads, basically it's a story about Carthage in the age of Rome. All right, this is a cool story. I like this one a lot. It's a little long-winded, the submission, right? So this one right here, it has a lot of story to it. It actually looks like almost a first chapter of the book, right? There's a lot of information given about it, right? But, you know, it's still a really nice story. So the log line is, right, and I'm only going to be sharing log lines. This is important, right? Log lines are basically your pitch to the public, right? So I'm only going to be sharing log lines. I'm not going to be sharing summaries. I'm not going to be sharing any information about the book. I'm only going to be sharing the log lines, right? So Zidon or Zidon, I'm not too sure how to pronounce that, is the main character, a dark-skinned athletic young man born to a master shipbuilder in Carthage. He is forced into Roman captivity at 16 in the aftermath of the Third Punic War. He must break the chains of bondage and avenge his people as he watches his city of Carthage burn to the ground. He swears to the gods that Scipio Africanus will die by his hands. I'm already in it. I'm already in it. You don't got to convince me of nothing at this point. I like that story. I like where it's going. You know, I like where it's going. And these are the kind of stories I love to see in pitches because, in all honesty, right, even though it's not in the top 3, right, there's no reason why that might not become a banger. It might be the most successful, you know. All right, here we go. Unlucky 7 right here. That was him. It was an amazing pitch. I'm gonna be honest with you. It was a great pitch. You know, here's some advice in order to make your pitch a little better, right? Less storytelling. So what happens is you gave a lot of the story, right? You almost get, like I said, it was almost like the first chapter of the book. It was a massive amount of content. What I would do is focus on the world, the main character, and what change is forced upon them. That's a perfect scenario in order to get me into the story. So I thought because there was too much going on, that I couldn't really follow it as much, right? A lot of characters, a lot of different things going on. And that was the reason why I didn't make it into the top 3, but it was in the top 10, right? So there you go. You have definitely got a story that you can facilitate, you can build out, and who knows, maybe after this investment round, we might pick you up anyway, right? I like Carthage. Anything about Carthage, I like. So I might be, you know, signing people who didn't get into the top 3 at all, simply because I think that has a lot of potential in that specific story. You know what I mean? So that's what's up. Congratulations, right? And don't stop writing that story, right? Clean it up. Don't stop writing it. Let's see. Let's move on to the next guy. Blood River by, I'm just going to say Sibon, right? I'm just going to say Sibon. It's a very long name, so I'm just going to say Sibon, you know? But Blood River is actually pretty cool. So let's see. This is actually one that I would love to see as like somewhat of an action / comedy, right? I know people don't think of it that way, but I would love to see this story as an action / comedy, right? That has historical significance, right? But it's like, I feel like it has that more of a, you know, just because of the topic, I feel like it has more of a, what was it? A Dr. Stone type feel to it, right? Where it's like, it's serious, but at the same time, there's a lot of funny stuff that happens that breaks the ice when it gets too serious, right? So that's how I felt about this story. It just felt that way, right? So first of all, let's share the log line. First of all, right? Nafi is a notorious cattle bandit in South Africa, stealing herds from settlers in South Africa. He's tracked down by Lyra, who tricks him into tracking down her missing father. They end up having to hunt down Uyez, a traitor commando who Nafi once served under. So basically, this dude is a freaking former commando, right, in South Africa, and he left them when the British start coming all up in there trying to take everything over. And, you know, in order to make money and to be a little justice, kind of like a Robin Hood of his place, right, he steals everybody's cows, because they always messing up all the South Africans industry. So they said, yo, I'm gonna take all y'all cows and I'm gonna give it to the South Africans. The hell with y'all. And he's using his commando skills, his actual like special ops skills to do it. I thought this story was wild. I was like, and the best part about this is it's a real story. It's not something that's totally fake. It's like something that's real, right? And I was like, this is so interesting in an odd way. Like, you know, you deal with a lot of politics. You deal with the Dutch and the freaking British and the South African people in general. It's a great time period, you know, pre-apartheid, right? So this is right when it started going off, and you know, it can go cool places. You know, I like this one. And let me see, do we have Blood River's writer here? Is that person here? I want to make sure so I can give them their proper shout out. If they're not here, then we'll move on. All right, so I don't think he's here, but that's perfectly fine. You know, this was definitely written by a South African writer, right? So this writer is from South Africa, and their time is way different from ours. It's like freaking 2 o'clock in the morning or something like that. So, they're definitely, it's going to be a lot harder for them to be online at the same time we are. So let's go. Next one is going to be, let's see, boom, boom, boom. Defend Zaimaka, or in other words, Jamaica. Defend Jamaica, right? So this story, first of all, let me see who is really writing this one. I don't have the exact name. I got to look it up on the email, but I have them in email, right? So basically, this story right here, this is a Jamaican story. I like this one. Actually, this one right here has a really good potential to be both a comic or a novel, whichever one is best for it, right? And it does have a lot of potential, especially for the historical significance of it, right? This one felt like it was not even comic at all. It was straight up like a real story that needs to be told. So the idea of it is Alanji is a young Maroon warrior. He spent most of his youth as a slave to the people inhabited Zaimaka, aka Jamaica. Once he received his freedom, he befriended Queen Nani and learned how to fight in the Blue Mountains and learned the ways of the Maroon people. He then went back to the camps where he was enslaved and engages in guerrilla warfare. His act helped spur the first Maroon War of the 1720s and helped in pushing the colonists out of Jamaica. I like this story. I like it a lot. I like historical references, right? I love historical references. So when I see stuff like that, I'm like, I'm in, right? So this one right here was incredible. You know, it wasn't in the top 3, but it's definitely very close, very, very close, right? And definitely don't stop writing this particular story. Real talk, you know. This is real talk. Don't stop writing this story. Defend Jamaica, right? This is a good one. This is a good one right here. So let's go ahead and let's see what else we can go in here. Let's see. We have another one in the Caribbean, right? It's called Disgraced Maroon. I personally don't like this name, right? But well, you know, I'm the kind of guy who's also about marketability. So, you know, I would change the name a little bit, but the story is pretty dope, right? I think the story is dope because and the log line doesn't really capture it, right? This is probably one of the reasons why this one didn't make it in the top 3 was simply because the log line didn't capture the essence of the story, right? So first of all, in Disgraced Maroon, basically, a former slave struggles with his past before being given a chance to atone for his sins. Now, I think that's an extremely, you know, bland version of what I really got from this submission. So what I really got from this submission was a young man, James Zaire, becomes a bounty hunter for the slave owners, right? Because his mother is in critical need of care. She is dying, right? And they can keep her alive, right? And take care of her so long as he, as a very young man, age 16, right? So as long as he continues to fight for them in order to keep these other slaves in check. So he does what he has to do in order to save his mom. You know what I'm saying? He's like, yo, I got to save my mom. I know everybody hates me, but whatever, right? But then he finds out after doing this for years that his mom's been dead for a minute and they've been hiding it from him for a long time. And what he does is he breaks everybody out of the plantation that he was at, right? And kills everybody there, massacres everyone. And then he goes out and gets captured by the Maroons who think they say they're gonna kill this dude because he's been a bounty hunter his whole life, hunting them down. And you know, he's given a second chance after being fatally wounded. So they gave him a fatal wound, right? But didn't actually kill him and said, hey, if you survive, you know, then I guess the gods have a bigger purpose for you, right? And he survives, right? Because if he died, then it'll be a terrible story, right? But he survives, right? And now he's dealing with that drama of being basically a traitor his entire life, is trying to make up for it the whole way through. It's like a super hardcore, deep version of Assassin's Creed. And I was like, this story is great. Why wasn't the log line something like this? I would have killed. This story would have been amazing if the log line was like captured the essence that I saw in the summary. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I think, man. That's what I thought about that story. It was incredible. You know, it's definitely something that I like. You know, sometimes people do stuff because they're caught in a bad situation, right? If your mom's dying and you're a young kid, I can see you doing something shady. Why not, right? You trying to save your moms. So, you know, that's what's up with that, man. That's what's up. All right, so let's move on past that one. Is the writer here for that one? Disgraced Maroon? All right, so let's move on to the next one. All right, so we have about, let's see how many we got left of these ones, the finalists. So boom, boom, boom. Ganga Zumba. Ganga Zumba is actually pretty crazy. This is one where if I had more information, about the main character storyline, it would have been in the top 3, guaranteed. It might have even won the entire competition if I had more information about the main character and what their story is, right? So the idea was Ganga Zumba. The main character is the son of a princess from the Kingdom of Congo who, during warfare with the Portuguese, was kidnapped and shipped to Brazil. He was the first leader of a massive runaway slave rebellion in Brazil and later became a king of a new empire within this new land they settled in. This is a real historical story. And it really is freaking Congo royalty that got sent to freaking Brazil. And then they made a real settlement with 20,000 freed, like escaped slaves, and fought the Portuguese and the Spanish across the hills of Brazil for freaking like 100 years. This is the craziest story. This is a dope story. And I didn't get that information from the actual like pitch. The pitch was just short of telling me why the main character is doing this amazing thing. Everything about it's amazing. The setting's amazing. The timeline's amazing. The stories are going to be phenomenal. The players are authentic, and we can research them. We just need to get more of the storytelling part of this pitch, which was missing. That was the only reason why this one didn't make it in the top 3. And if it was there, I almost guarantee this would have been the #1 submission of the entire competition, being honest. Hey, here we go. Here's the writer right here. Boom. So you heard that, right? You heard my advice on that one. It's very clear. What we need to do is give me a compelling story about this main character, because that's the only character we're going to be caring about. But as far as I'm concerned, this is the perfect anti-colonial story. Like, this is a big one, right? So if you can clean this up, right, you got yourself a deal. You just got to clean it up. All right, let's go to the next one. This one's actually pretty interesting. So this one's different from the others. Very different. So this one's called Tasmanian Rebels. And this one could have been in the top 3. It really could have. Like I was debating it. I was debating whether this one was in there. It has absolutely nothing wrong with it at all. All right? It just didn't make it in the top 3. It really had absolutely nothing wrong with it at all. It's called Tasmanian Rebels. Basically the story is, it's like Pocahontas. It's like Pocahontas, except a much darker story. The setting is Australia, right? The son of a British doctor and the daughter of an Aboriginal tribe chieftain share a romance as British penal colonizers invade 19th century Tasmania. All right, that's where we're going with this. We're going to Tasmania in the 19th century. Right, there's a love between a tribe chieftain's daughter and a doctor from Britain, right? And the story goes to hell in a handbasket. All right, it's a tragic romance story. It's the classic case of why you shouldn't trust foreigners, right? It's one of those stories, right? And it's real dope too, because there's a lot of war that happened in that time period. You know, Australia wasn't settled yet, so there's a lot of crap going on in that time period, right? And they weren't even really supported by the British Crown at the time, right? They were mostly convicts and people that were basically kicked out of Britain, So it was a wild story. This was one of the pitches that I thought, could have made a really cool, like 12-issue series, like just 12 issues, wrap it up, right? Beginning to end, that's it. And I thought this would be a really strong, slice of life / drama, right? Slice of life drama story where it's not really that much war going on. It's just a really good drama, right? About politics between multiple nations, right? In a very, very, very unusual situation. And let's see. Let's move on. First of all, is the writer of Tasnian Rebels here. I would like to say congratulations if you are. Are you here? All right. So let's go ahead and get to the top three. These are the top three. Now, first of all, let's be honest, right? We're going to be very clear on this, right? These are the top three submissions for the competition. These are winners, all right? These aren't just people who get clout, right? These aren't people who get bragging rights. These are people who actually win something, right? So on the table for these three submissions is a publishing deal with Black Sands Entertainment. The publishing deal consists of 3 books that we are going to fund completely from the ground up. They will write the scripts for the books, right? And they will learn how to basically manage a team through direct training from Manuel Godoy, right? Me, I'm going to train you directly. In the first book, you will get a royalty for X amount of money. Second book, you will get a bigger royalty. In the third book, you'll get your final bigger royalty. And then from there, it just goes flat from there. The same royalty forever, right? We will be funding everything. We will be printing everything. We will be marketing everything. We will be doing every single thing that is required for this. We will get the artist. You don't have to look for an artist. We're going to handle that. All you got to do is write the damn script and make it good. That's all you got to do. And we're going to handle everything else. That is the kind of deals that we're going to be putting on the table for these three submissions. Additionally, they could choose to publish with us or not, right? They could choose to. It's their choice because, you know, maybe the deal is not good for them. I don't know, right? But it's their option to take the deal or not take the deal. It's completely up to them, right? One thing I will say, though, is when I am talking about whether something is a success or not, I am not talking about success according to the comic book industry. Because if it's one thing the comic book industry ever taught us, is that they don't give a damn about African stories, right? They don't care. If you got a Dark Horse deal right now, that book would sell less than 10,000 copies because they don't care. They don't care. They're not going to buy it at comic book shops. So what we're talking about is selling directly to Black consumers all across the nation through Facebook, through Instagram, through Amazon. That's how we do it. And we know that our audience cares about this content. So when we're talking about these deals, we should be thinking about that when we're saying whether a deal is good or not. We'll say, who has the customers? Dark Horse don't have the customers. Image don't have the customers. I got the customers. I've sold 60,000 copies of Black Sands. You know? Today alone, I sold 300 books. Today. I ain't say this week. I said today. Okay, so we need to be thinking about this when we talk about, you know, publishing deals with Black Sands. It's a serious deal, and it could change your life. It really can, you know. So let's get into this, right? Top three. First of all, number 3 and number 2. I didn't put a rank on them. I didn't put a number 3 and I didn't put a number 2. So they're just super like finalists. That's all they are. They're don't worry about number 3 or number 2. I thought they were an equal footing. Okay. First things first. They're an equal footing. Let's not go and say, oh, one was better than the other because it wasn't. All right. So let's go and get that. Let's get this show on the road. We got here. Boom, boom, boom. So let's start off with Clifton Simmons. First of all, Clifton Simmons sent me a submission that I have to be honest with you guys. This was easily the most non-formatted submission I've ever seen in my life. All right. He broke all the rules of a submission, right? And I didn't want to reward him for it. I was like, you know what? I'm going to throw this submission away. I have to throw this submission away out of principle. I can't let this person survive when they sent me a pitch that looked so different from what I formatted, right? So I said, okay, I can't do it. But I kept looking at it and I kept reading it, and it was so clear. And I was like, damn it. I looked at it and I was like, this is such a good, such a good setting. I'm sick. I can't get rid of it. I want to get rid of it. I want to purge it from my system just because it didn't follow the rules. And I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I'm sorry. I just couldn't do it. I wanted to, but I couldn't do it. This one survived. Stagecoach Mary and the Juneteenth agenda. So let me tell you why this story survived, right? It didn't even follow the rebellion one too much, right? It is a rebellion. It is an absolute rebellion. I definitely think it's a rebellion story, but it's not really anti-colonial. But I let that slide because this story is a banger, and I think honestly it could easily be a top 10 seller in the nation. It really might. I honestly believe that. So let's break down why, though. So first of all, Stagecoach Mary. If you don't know about her, right, and this is the greatest part about this pitch. Basically, it sells me the characters. It doesn't just say, you know, this blah blah. It sells me the characters. So Stagecoach Mary is a freed slave and the most favorite resident of Cascade, Montana. She handles a gun and rides horses better than any man. Perfect for the U.S. Postal Service as its first black mail carrier. All right, that's where we're going with this. First black, mail carrier. That's where we're going with this. A female USPS postal worker. All right. I'm like, okay, cool. That's interesting. I'm not going to, it's all right. I'm good with that. So what's the setting of the story then? Let's go to Bloodbuff, Montana. He said, you won't find Bloodbuff, Montana on any map. It would be a miracle to find anyone who has heard of it or would admit to it. In 1899, slavery is alive and thriving in Bloodbuff. Long after the Civil War, Juneteenth's message of freedom never reached the town because many would kill to keep it secret. Okay, wait a second. Are we about to connect some dots between the first black mail carrier who could handle a gun and a town that's still in slavery 25 years after the Civil War? Are we about to connect those two things? Are we about to do that right now? Are we really going there right now? Are we really going there right now? Okay, let me go further than this. All right. Mary is asked to deliver a package to Bloodbuff. It's not part of her normal routine, but the mayor of Cascade insists. Mary makes the trip and finds herself trapped in an old world she thought she'd never see again. It's up to her to deliver a message of freedom to the enslaved and lead a rebellion to take down a mining empire. All right. I give up. Totally not a part of what I was looking for. I hate slave stories. Damn, this is a good slave story. This sounds like some heads are about to be cracked. A lot of people's toes are about to be stepped on. This sounds cool as hell. But wait, there's more. How about a B story character? You know how I always talk about the B story character? I said, wait a minute. We have to have some kind of character that basically makes the story even more, human, right? Because these stories get so grand. What is the human side of the story? How about this B story character? Lieutenant Samuel Cobb Jackson is a mining slave who befriends Mary and helps lead the rebellion. He was a Buffalo soldier who formerly served in the cavalry and was captured during the Civil War and survived thinking that he had lost the war. Tell me this story ain't crazy. This is a crazy ass story. This is a story that I'm like, if it had anything at all with any of the rules, it probably would have won the competition, right? But I had to at least put it in the top 3. But this story right here is a top 10 in the country. I know for a fact I could sell 100,000 copies of this book. I know it. I know I can. This right here is a banger. This is a banger beyond bangers. I love the setting. I love the supporting characters. I love the ridiculous scenario that this woman is being put in, and the fact that you could actually Google this woman, the fact that these people really exist is even crazier. We got pictures, historical pictures of these people. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Man, you know what? I'm going to leave this one alone. I got to leave this one alone. I'm going to let this one ride off to the wind, right? And I'm going to go talk to him in the background when I'm done with this thing. But this one right here is going to do numbers. We're going to do numbers with this one. All right, let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on. You know, I'm giving too much credit to a runner-up. That's too much credit for a runner-up. We need to keep moving. Let's see where we're going here. Reincarnated. All right, Reincarnated. A little basic name, but we're gonna let it ride for now. We'll fix that a little bit, right? So this is actually a pretty interesting story on history. So I'm gonna let y'all ride on this one. But here's the log line. After a king's decree to slaughter his wife's family, she takes revenge by seizing the throne and must now wage war against the French and British invasion to preserve her people's freedom and native spirituality. Now, the cool thing about this story is that it really happened. And it really happened in a beautiful place called Madagascar. Now, Madagascar, first of all, me being the ignorant black man that I am, I had no idea that there was an entire kingdom in freaking Madagascar. Nobody told me that there was an entire kingdom in Madagascar. You know, I'm thinking Madagascar is full of a whole bunch of weird tigers, right? And some of the world's craziest animals. I did not know there was an entire kingdom in Madagascar, but now I know, right? And this story right here just blows my mind. It really does. The reason why this blows my mind is because, first of all, it's a queen, a real queen. She had a lot of power. She reigned for like 35 years in history. Real fact, right? She was a pain in the ass to the British and the French. Real fact, right? And the reason why her war was such a successful war was because Madagascar is way the hell in the middle of nowhere. And that means that British can't really bring a huge, giant, massive army, because if they do, they leave themselves vulnerable all across the world. So what does she do? She takes these facts and she exploits them. She exploits them again and again and again, and constantly punches them in the face, all while dealing with the politics of having, you know, basically usurped the crown from her husband, who killed her family simply because he didn't want no competition. You know, this is some wild mess. This is like a really dirty arc of Game of Thrones. Like one of those really bad arcs. You know, you got the arcs where it just seems horrible. And you're like, wow, that's so cold. How ruthless everybody is. That's this arc. That's this arc right here. And I personally think that while I don't necessarily know the fates of this, as far as like where it's going to land in the market, right? Whether it's going to sell a lot of copies or not. What I do know is this is of historical significance, right? And because it's of historical significance, it needs to be made. Period. If it does extremely well, I'm happy for it. But it damn sure needs to be made. So that is my opinion on this one right here, right? That's what I feel about it. So I'm gonna ride with that. I'm gonna ride with this one. This is definitely in the top 3 right here. It's beautiful. There's a lot of information in this submission. It's actually a very long submission. It's a very long submission with a lot of detail. If I wanted this, and the reason why I picked this one as well was because I looked at this and I said, I could work with this person. Let me be clear, all right? In these competitions, when I'm picking your application out, right? When I'm picking your application out, what I'm looking for is whether you can follow the rules, whether you're clear and responsible, and whether I'll be able to work with you. Because I want you to be able to do everything yourself eventually. But at first, I have to hold your hand a lot. And the last thing I want to do is deal with somebody that on paper, I'm already looking like I'm struggling with them, right? On paper, I'm already thinking, man, it's going to be hard to get them out their ways. You know what I'm saying? And this one, I was like, there's so much information here, but it's still clear. And I was like, you know what? I don't have to ask him to do research. I know he's going to do it, right? I don't got to ask him to go and, or her or whatever, right? I don't got to ask them to go and chase this down. They're just going to do it. They're just going to do it, and they're going to do it correctly. And I don't have to worry about it so much, right? And it gives me a big relief, right? So think about that when you're doing these things. Make sure it's clear. One of the greatest aspects of these top three, the top three, is that they're clear as hell. And the pitch that I got about Mary, right? It was so different from what I asked for, but it was so clear. It was like somebody was selling me. It was like a pitch deck. Somebody was selling me a story, and I couldn't help but when I was reading it, like it was a freaking commercial, right? I was like, okay, well, what do you know? I was thinking in my head like that, right? And this is important, right? Throw some energy in there. Try to be fun. Try to be clear, right? And you're going to do a great job. Trust me, you'll do a great job. Now let's go to the finalist, the final guy, the winner of it all. Let's see here. Boom, boom, boom. So first of all, before we make this this last statement, oh, and by the way, if you don't know, this is one of my new writers. I'm going to be signing him as well. He has a story that he's developing himself for the company, and we're going to be signing him as well. So there's a lot of people I'm signing. You know, a lot of delays because of the investment round, right? Hopefully get that out the way so I can go and sign everybody and make these books, right? But he's one of our people, right? So if you don't know him, that is his handle on Instagram, OACB. So look him up on Instagram, give him a follow. He actually has a lot of comic books that he does. He has a lot of comic books, Hispanic in nature, stuff like that. Hit it up. It's pretty dope. And let's see here. Boom, boom, boom. Let me just change my banner because I don't want this banner here. Let's talk about this. Who wins? Right? So I want to make sure that I got it here. All right, let's see here. The $500 winner, right? Let's see. $500 winner. Who is that? Who's the guy that won $500? Let's make sure I got that spelt right. I don't want to mess things up. Ay, ay, ay. 500. All right. Save. Boom. Our $500 winner is Kylan Hunter. Yep. This the guy. This is the guy who did it. Kylan Hunter. And the story that he wrote to pitch to us is called Rebel Ruins. So first of all, let's talk about Rebel Ruins. Let's talk about this for a second. What are we talking about here? So Rebel Ruins is, I'm gonna be honest with you. You know, I love and I absolutely love anything involving grand strategy. And this one right here is basically about the aftermath of the fall of Carthage. All right. So this is about to be wild. So first of all, let's go through the pitch. Let's go through the pitch right now. Yeah, look at him smiling and stuff. Look at that smile right there on his character. I don't want to have no smiles. No smiling today. We gotta get to work. Let's go through this real quick. So first of all, let's go with the log line. Log line is: the city of Carthage has fallen. Hannibal has gone missing, and the Roman Empire rules in his place, but not for long. The future rests on Adonis as he goes on a journey to find his king, reunite his people, and take back what is rightfully theirs. Okay. I think I'm ready to go and fight. I don't know about you, but I'm ready to fight. I don't know who is ready to fight, but when I hear that, I say, okay, let's go find Hannibal. Let's go and beat these Romans down. And that's what I felt when I read this story. I said, first of all, this is a perfect time period because it really happened, right? This really happened. It was a huge deal. It was a part of Africa. It was our people, and we got attacked by Rome again and again. And instead of going the easy route and saying, this story is about Hannibal. Hannibal did this. Hannibal did that. Everybody talks about Hannibal. Let's talk about a character who's a part of this empire, right? But is not Hannibal. Let's talk about somebody looking for Hannibal. These are the kind of stories that you see, the Clash of Titans. All these stories where somebody's going on a journey that seems like an everyday person, a regular person, who gets put in an extraordinary situation because of what's going on in their world. And they're forced to change and become something bigger than themselves in order to save their people. I like those kind of stories. I don't like the story where it's always about the king. I like the stories where it's just some random dude in the king's big army, and we're following their story, right? So this is an amazing thing. Scipio is in there whipping everybody's behind. You know, Scipio is the big villain in this story, right? They done sacked multiple cities around Carthage. The main character got sold into, you know, he got taken in by the freaking Romans. It's a great story. I think this one right here has the epicness, right, to easily be 30 issues long, like something like 30 issues long. There's a lot of stuff going on in this story, a lot, right? And you know, I just think this. I honestly believe this is one of the strongest historical pitches I've heard in like freaking 3 years. You know what I mean? So I'm be honest with you. This is easily, you know, a big time winner. Definitely a Vinland Saga contender, right? We're like, oh yeah, Vinland Saga. I love Vinland Saga. Oh my God, I love Vikings. Oh my goodness. Oh, I love the story of Uhtred in Wessex. I love that. This is the story right here for us. This is the one that I think is going to do some serious numbers. Very, very, very realistic, very authentic, and more importantly, African. Kicking Roman behind, or at least trying to. Sometimes you don't win. And a lot of the times in the story, I guarantee you, the Carthaginians are not going to win, right? But at the end of the day, it's not about winning or losing. It's about telling them that, you know, you're not going to take their shit, right? like that's the idea of anti-colonialism. It's not that you can necessarily beat them, because sometimes you can't. But it's just simple fact that you're not going to take their shit, you know? You're not some docile slave who asks for freedom. You take it. And if you can't have it, you die. But that's the way it is. You know what I'm saying? So big shout out to Kylan. I'll be hollering at him through email, right? And he can tell me all he wants. And for the next 3 minutes, everything Kylan says, I'm going to put on the screen. Everything he says. I don't care what he says down there. If he says something on there, if he says, shout out to my moms who did whatever, I'm going to put it up. So anything he posts within the next 3 minutes is going to be pulled up on the screen. It's your stage right now, Kylan. So go ahead and tell your fans, your future fans and customers, what to expect from your career with Black Sands Entertainment. I'm waiting. He started off with the easy one, right? Thanks, everyone. Let's go further than that. What are we doing? Oh, and you know, if you thought this was cool, if you thought this whole competition was cool, and you thought that, you know, this is literally the place to be, what you need to do is just go to our Patreon and become a Patreon member, right? Join our competitions. Have fun with us, man. We talk, we laugh, we do all types of crazy stuff. It's just fun, right? So there you go. Patreon.com/BlackSands. Join us. Join the army. We got like freaking 1,200 people. It's pretty dope. And if you want to also become an investor, please invest, right? But if you want to be an investor, just do that right there, right? Now let's go see if Colin said anything. You know, I get delays, so I don't get to see his stuff on time. Here we go. All right, so here we go. Again, I can't wait to work with everyone at Black Sands. I've been hungry for an opportunity like this for a long time, and I have to say, I can't wait for what's gonna happen next. Yes, this is true. So we try to make this as simple as possible for you. So what's gonna happen is first, I'll tell you the process, right? We're gonna pay you. How we're gonna pay you? You can decide. We're gonna let you decide that. Hopefully you do PayPal. If you do PayPal, it's easy. Super easy. We just send you money through PayPal. We call it a day. As far as your story goes, what we're going to do is we're going to ask for a beat sheet, right? So we're going to ask for a beat sheet. It's going to be a lot more detailed version of your story, right? And then from there, we're going to go and give you a 3-book deal. The 3-book deal will go at first. You'll start off with, and this is for everybody, so pay attention to how this works. You're going to start off with a 3-book deal. It's going to go 10, 15, and 20% license. So what happens is every single book you write, you're going to get the first book 10% because I have to do everything. Like I'm going to be holding your hand so hard in this first book. So I'm going to have to do everything. 10% on the first book, 15% on the second book, 20% on the third book, and then 20% forever from there. You never have to pay for an artist. You never have to pay for an editor. You never have to pay for buying books, selling books, none of that crap. All you do is get a check every 3 to 6 months for the rest of your life for the books that we develop at our company. We own the books, right? And we help you every step of the way. We hopefully give you a career, right? And I say a reasonable thing is within 2 years, you can make, you know, this is reasonable. This is assuming that you make at least 6 books in 2 years, which is very reasonable, right? We should be able to do an estimation of $50,000 to $100,000 in royalties by the end of year 2, right? By the end of year 2, you should make at least $50,000 to $100,000 a year if you've done at least 6 books and they're at least mildly successful, all right? Because we sell a lot of books. So when we say mildly successful, it's a lot of freaking books. All right. So you know, that's the idea. The idea is no more 9 to 5s. You only make books. You know what I'm saying? And that's how we want to do it for everybody who gets a publishing deal with us. And that's how it's going to be. And that's why we didn't hide it from anybody. We tell everybody here, right? Everybody in our comment section, I want everybody to know this is how we structure our deals. Very similar to how Dark Horse does their deals. Right? We create these IPs for, we build these things up for you guys, and you guys create the books, right? And so long as you keep making them, you keep getting checks forever. You know what I'm saying? And it's just a really cool way to handle things, right? And more importantly, you know what's the craziest thing about this entire thing? Is that you will basically leapfrog people who have been doing comic books for 5 years. So people have been doing comic books for 5 years. They'll struggle, and I really mean this. They will struggle to sell 5,000 books in a year. They'll struggle to do that. With Black Sands Entertainment, you might sell 5,000 books in a month. Not even lying, right? And you don't have to do anything besides write a script. And that's the thing that's important about it. We're leapfrogging people who had to work for 5 years to get to where they're at. And you're just leapfrogging them. You're jumping right over their head. They're going to be going to Artist Alley. They're going to be buying Artist Alley booths and sitting in front of people, catching diseases and stuff as they're coughing in their face, trying to sell a couple of 100 books at a convention after driving 12 hours to get to the convention, right? And you're going to be sitting at home playing Warcraft and getting royalties. You know, so what I'm telling you guys is, this is the play. This is how we build an empire. And I'm sick and tired of the idea of the Hollywood dream, the Disney deal, right? I don't like those deals at all. What I want is people who are going to constantly develop properties that sell. We sell the hell out of them. We build a massive audience for ourselves, and then we have an empire all by ourselves. Everybody's making 100,000 plus. Everybody's buying houses off of their freaking comic books, that's the life we want, right? You see this background? This is my part of the house. I got a freaking like like 1,800 square foot basement to myself. It's mine. I don't got to share it with nobody. This is my whole basement, all from comic books. This is just me, right? I got a 4,000 square foot house from comic books. You know what I'm saying? So we got to make sure that we making them plays so that everybody can get this kind of life, right? And the first thing we got to do is say, the hell with Hollywood, the hell with Disney. Black people will help us. Black people will buy our products. Black people will make our companies into billion-dollar companies by themselves. We don't need to go wide. We don't need to attract everybody. All we need to do is triple down on our core customer, Black folks. You understand? Just saying the truth. So thank you so much. I appreciate all you guys. I appreciate all you guys 100%. It was a great competition. If you want to be in the next competition, you better join that patron, right? And please, before you go away, go to wefunder.com and become an investor if you haven't done it yet. We really need you guys. We need you guys because I just don't like long I don't like long campaigns. So I want this campaign over in a week. So I need people to get in there, buy up my stock so they can start benefiting from our sales, start getting that growth. The people who invested in February have a 100% increase in their stock price in just 8 months. All right. Don't be that guy who comes 2 years later and they got to buy a share for like freaking $5 when the share price was $1.96. You know what I'm saying? So get in there early, buy some stock, make some plays, and we're going to handle this real quick. And I'm going to be signing people left to right, doing mad competitions because it's fun and it helps build us up. You know what I'm saying? It's fun. Where's all these other companies doing this? There's been Black publishers out there for years, and they haven't been doing any of the stuff that we're doing. It's because they don't trust the consumer. We need to trust the consumer. These Black folks want content for their kids, and they don't haggle. Did you know that I sell at least 5 times more books than the biggest Black publishers out there? But wait, I also sell the most expensive books. That don't even make any sense. Why do I sell 5 times more books than everybody else? Plus, I have more expensive books. I'm like Gucci. I'm like the Gucci of Black comic books, right? I got $20 comic books. I got $20 comic books, and people buy them like they're hotcakes. They buy them like they're crazy people. You understand? Why do they do it? Why do they do it? It's probably because of the way I talk to people, the messaging, telling people the truth, not being afraid of, oh, I don't want to upset Disney. I don't want to mess up my future Disney deal. So I better not say anything about African history. I better say all history matters, right? I better go out there and say all history matters. Why should we talk about only African history? All history matters. That's what these other publishers be doing. They be like, all history matters. You a Black man. You a Black man writing a story about Vikings. Oh, yeah, but, you know, I really like the Vikings. I really like the Vikings, though, man. You know, I really like them. I really like the Vikings. You know, it's like we got time to play them games, man. We need to go and win. We need to win. And that means we got to make plays, we got to be aggressive, and we got to trust our peoples. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we do at Black Sands. I appreciate all you guys. We had an amazing competition. There's a lot of deals on the table. Second this investment round's done, I'm going to be signing people left and right. But I'm signing those first 3 people as soon as possible. I'm getting the paperwork ready, and y'all about to get into this Black Sands thing and start writing some scripts. We about to get into this bad boy, all right? I got artists already lined up. I have like freaking 15 artists in the bank just waiting for a book. They waiting for a script. That's all they need. So we ready to go. All right, guys. I will holler at you later. Please, wefunder.com/Black Sands Entertainment. Be an investor today, all right? I'm going to look for you. I'm going to hunt you down, all right? All right, see y'all, man.